Hello there, a very good evening to you indeed, and many thanks for joining us on Rwanda Television News tonight. Our hopes that you had yourselves a great start to your week and a productive Monday. Welcome to tonight's edition. A sneak peek to it. These are the headlines. A total of 634 soldiers of the Central African Republic Armed Forces graduated on Monday, the second cohort, trained by the Rwanda Defense Force. Participants of the 2024 Rwanda Agri-Show indicate that innovation in this sector will increase production as well as open new markets for them. A very good evening to you once again, and thank you for your company tonight on Rwanda Television News. And what tops our edition tonight? A total of 634 soldiers of the Central African Republic Armed Forces graduated on Monday, August 5th in the capital Bangui at the second cohort to be trained by the Rwanda Defense Force. The first cohort of 512 soldiers trained under the framework of a bilateral agreement between Rwanda and the Central African Republic graduated on November 24th, 2023. During last year's ceremony, President Faustin Archange Touadera said that the bilateral cooperation arrangement with Rwanda is fruitful, having helped to restore peace and security in his country. The President of the Central African Republic praised the President of Rwanda, His Excellency Paul Kagame, for the ongoing cooperation and relations between the two countries, particularly in areas such as increasing the capacity of the Central African Republic's military. Touadera also congratulated President Paul Kagame on his re-election.
Let me thank you from the bottom of my heart, my brother President Paul Kagame, for this cooperation. This collaboration has been ongoing for a long time ago, and we are currently developing into many institutions. There are troops who came here as part of the international cooperation, but there are also who came as part of the bilateral cooperation, working directly with the Central Command of the Central Africa Army. Part of this collaboration is training, and another part of the basic training is held here. We now having two graduating cohorts. In my opinion, it is very satisfying. I would like to use this microphone to thank President Paul Kagame, the Minister of Defense of Rwanda, and the RDF for this cooperation. By implementing this vision, my brother President Kagame, and I wish for new and continued success after his re-election. I know that the ceremony to receive his oath will be on 11th.
Je pense que la cérémonie d'investiture aura lieu le 11.
The President of the Central African Republic, His Excellency Faustin Archange Touadera, and the Army Chief of Staff, Major General Vincent Nyakarundi, appreciated the courage of these armed forces.
Nous, la deuxième promotion, nous sommes fiers de la formation.
We members of the second cohort, we are very happy. We have been given important lessons, which we put into practice to protect our country, our families, and our leaders. The Rwandan Army is willing to continue working with you in training the Central African Army, not only at the level of junior soldiers, but also in other categories of military courses. To the graduates, the training you have received is the foundation for building military career. Strive to be the best you can be for your country. Wearing this military uniform means building the confidence of this country.
And moving ahead to other matters, senators in the Rwandan Parliament requested the Ministry of Unity and Civic Engagement to monitor researches on the genocide against the Tutsi, as some use the platform to tarnish Rwanda and deny the genocide against the Tutsi. Prince Manzi brings us the details.
On Monday, the plenary session of the Senate was presented with the report of the Committee on Foreign Affairs, Cooperation and Security to discuss with the Ministry of National Unity and Civic Engagement the measures against the genocide against the Tutsi denial through research. The report follows various sessions held in March this year with institutions in charge of the prevention of denial rising in the region. Senators reiterate that sometimes research is done without the consent of the Ministry of National Unity and Civic Engagement. I recently saw researchers on the genocide that concluded with the exclusion of films demonstrated There's a film titled Kumba of a foreigner, Sarah Malegol, and another of Ange Maguio titled Mauvaise Montueur, with the research conducted in Rwanda. But these movies, even Rwandans cannot watch them easily, and I'm confused on these researches and outcomes. You find that someone comes from outside, meets a random Rwandan from Norway, you cannot tell if he or she is informed enough. What the foreigner is told is made into a movie, and it is sold in some parts of the world, and the ministry in charge is unaware. In this report, the committee is to demonstrate that the ministry in charge is to declare that a certain research is prohibited or not approved. The senators added an example of the Forbidden Stories, a documentary series of over 50 journalists aimed at tarnishing Rwanda's image. The chairperson of the Committee on Foreign Affairs, Cooperation and Security, Honorable Hadija Murangwa Ndangiza, reiterates that the Ministry of National Unity and Civic Engagement is to monitor the implementation of conditions of researchers on the genocide against the Tutsi. The issue is that some do not abide by it, and the ministry is unaware sometimes. We have the unique history of this genocide, and there should also be uniqueness on how the information is shared and the truth about it. Failure to comply with these, researchers fail to collect truthful data. One of the solutions to this is the center that is being built in Kamonyi district, aimed at collecting enough evidence of the history of the genocide against the Tutsi so that it will help those who want to know the details. The center will cost more than 400 million Rwandan francs, as elaborated by Professor Dusingizemungu Jean-Pierre. It is an infrastructure aimed for researchers. It has every aspect: interview rooms, documentaries, everything. Its design is precisely a research-based infrastructure on genocide. The contents of this report are the discussions held by the Ministry of National Unity and Civic Engagement with this committee, which mainly includes the objectives of this ministry and what it plans to do so that research on the genocide is aimed at confronting those who deny it to avoid the impact it would have on the Rwandan community.
The 2024 Global Rights Index report reveals that 65 out of 151 countries surveyed do not respect workers' rights, especially during this challenging period for the labor market. Labor experts emphasize that although Rwanda has labor laws, their enforcement and respect need to be in line with other legal frameworks. Olimnete reports.
The 2024 Global Rights Index, now in its 10th edition, reveals a 29% increase in workplace violations of workers' rights across 65 of the 151 countries surveyed. Labour expert Jean Mukunzi discusses some of the reasons why workers in the international labour market are increasingly at odds with their employers.
Ubukungu rero bwagiye buhura n'ibibazo bitandukanye.
The economy was hindered by various issues. Some companies had to close their businesses, leading to job losses. Additionally, the escalation of prices and the depreciation of the currency contributed to employees not leading good life. Some employees lost their jobs, where others still haven't found employment due to lack of available jobs. This difficult lifestyle has resulted in dissatisfaction among workers in the workplaces.
Habyarimana Evariste, General Secretary of the Construction Trade Union Tekoma, and André Mutsindashyaka, General Secretary of the Union of Mining Workers, believe that workers in these sectors are often denied some of the rights to which they are entitled.
As workers in the informal sector, we face the problem of contracts not being provided by employers. This makes it impossible for our workers to obtain social security. Additionally, they are not paid through bank accounts, which prevents them from saving appropriately. A worker with no income can easily be driven to engage in illegal mining. Once involved, they may start participating into other illegal activities, which can lead to various consequences, including death. This not only results in tragic loss of life, but also means that Rwanda loses a valuable member of society.
Birabone Africain, General Secretary of the Rwanda Workers' Trade Union Confederation, CESTRA, emphasizes that there are laws in place to protect workers, and those who violate these laws should face penalties, just like anyone who breaches other legal regulations.
The labor law should be respected just like other laws in the country. We observe that when certain laws are not followed, sanctions are applied. However, when it comes to labor law, although it is well established and accepted, the follow-up on sanctions for violations, we urge that efforts be increased to enforce labor law sanctions more effectively.
On the other hand, Stephen Karangwa, chairperson of the Rwanda Human Resource Management Organization, notes that issues related to workers' rights will be a key topic at the upcoming 3-day African Human Resources Summit scheduled for August 21st to 23rd.
Let us go back a little and champion the cause of workers so that they can be heard by the employers without having to resort to suing them, reporting to legal inspectors, or going to court over issues such as work hours, contract terms, and overwork. First, we must ensure that it doesn't reach that level. This helps us to establish dialogues between employers and employees, facilitating smooth communication. When these dialogues are in place, a significant number of problems can be resolved.
In this report on workers' rights, the last 10 countries listed are Bangladesh, Belarus, Ecuador, Egypt, Eswatini, Guatemala, Myanmar, the Philippines, Tunisia, and Turkey. The report indicates that workers in these countries are experiencing significant dissatisfaction and unhappiness. Olive Nete, RTV News.
Participants of the agriculture and livestock exhibition indicated that innovation in this particular sector will increase production and open up new markets. Cedric Irakoze with more.
Usanas Abdul is a farmer who finds a way to harvest potatoes, sweet potatoes, and store them in the ground for up to 6 months without being spoiled. He says that this method helps him to preserve his production. Diane Tuisenge works in an environmental protection agency. They have developed a way to breed fish in an artificial pond and use that water for irrigation in order to deal with the climate change effects.
Back in days, we didn't like to cultivate sweet potatoes because they used to say that it causes kwashiorkor. Now it is totally different because sweet potatoes are important to everyone. Mostly it is good to young kids and pregnant women because it has vitamin A, plus that it protects our bodies.
This is one of the new developments in 17th edition of Agriculture and Livestock Exhibition. The participants expressed that it helps them to share knowledge and find out how to increase production. I'm producing 2 tons of kilos per day. We also gave a lot of seeds to different farmers, and now sweet potatoes are available everywhere. And finally, we buy for them. At least we want to reach 16 kilos per day, and we hope that it is very possible. In this exhibition, we make all process it requires a potato to be produced. The Ministry of Agriculture has shown that in the last 17 years of this project, the people who work in this profession have increased their productivity. The Minister of State for Agriculture and Animal Resources, Eric Rwigamba, urged the participants to continue producing and creating innovations in agriculture and livestock. These will need to expand our daily activities plan to be achieved even more of what we didn't expect. It will also need too much amount of capital in both sectors of agriculture and farming. This exhibition was attended by 479 exhibitors and will last for 10 days. It commenced on July 31st. Cedric Irakoze, RTV News.
The Chief of Cabinet in the Office of the United Nations Secretary General noted that what Rwanda has achieved is a flagship in the implementation of the UN's ambition to achieve a sustainability in the agriculture sector. He echoed this as on Monday the UN delegation visited mushroom farming and animal feeding projects in different parts of the country, particularly in Huye. Modern mushroom farming is one of the activities that the United Nations delegation visited at the Rwanda station, where the research center, built in cooperation between Rwanda and China, has already trained over 40,000 mushroom farmers. Farmers testify that there has been a tremendous progress in their farming activities. Before, we were using cotton, which we were getting from Tanzania, and it was expensive. For that reason, we didn't get the interests like today. We now use the modern techniques from China. Mushroom farming helped me to pay my tuition. I now have a bachelor's degree in agriculture. In 2018, I was trained by the Chinese Institute here in Rwanda. I learned how mushroom can be turned into other products like samosas, bread and more. The UN delegates are in Rwanda, where they are visiting the various activities that Rwanda has achieved in line with the Rwanda UN project that stems from the previous modern mushroom farming project between Rwanda and China. The Chief of Cabinet in the Office of the United Nations Secretary General noted that what they witnessed in Rwanda is a great stride towards sustainable agriculture.
The overriding objective is to advance the idea of sustainable development throughout developing countries. This is what our major focus is, and we give out grants to support different projects across the world that we think are worthy because of their emphasis on sustainable development.
After visiting the Rwanda station, the United Nations delegation visited the Songa station, where research is done on different animals, including cattle, sheep, and they learned ways to store animal feeds. Some of the young people who participated in the international exhibition ongoing in Gikondo say that creating various job opportunities, including those in arts and crafts, has transformed their lives and inspired other young people to find employment.
This is the third time Mugenzi Damascene, who created the job of making bead and metal jewelry, has participated in the international exhibition. He notes that his work, which he refers to as African art creation, has not only contributed to his own development, but also benefited the young people he has hired.
The first benefit I gained from this was being able to pay my university tuition, allowing me to continue my education after previously having dropped out due to lack of funds. Additionally, I was able to buy a plot of land from these activities. I also engaged in charity work, helping street children and teen mothers by employing them and also teaching them their skills. Some of them, thanks to what they learned here, they have started their own businesses. Teen mothers in particular, now they have means to raise their children and pay for their school fees without relying on external support. They can now afford what they need. There are numerous employment opportunities, and anyone can create jobs, even with just 5,000 Rwandan francs. One can start and achieve significant success.
Entrepreneurs involved in processing car horns and those working in the field of manufacturing edible oils and body-safe cosmetics agree that when young people find meaningful work, it benefits both them and their families. We started with just a few people, but we have now grown to a group of 12. We produce various oils designed for hair, skin and nails, especially for women who experience frequent nail breakage. While we don't have everything we want, we have what is necessary. Some of us, we pay for our own school fees, while others can afford to rent homes. Our goal is to develop and progress, which is why we exhibit our products for people to see, especially foreign buyers, as our products can also be exported.
I started hiring young people because they are energetic and quick learners. Initially, I began with 2 young employees. I had people aged 20 and above, with a focus on students who dropped out of school. Currently, I have 8 young people working with me, most of whom had difficulties affording school fees due to their parents' financial constraints. I trained those people, helping them to build a better life, which has significantly impacted their lives. Imagine if one of these kids, who previously had nothing, can now afford to pay their rent instead of living on the streets. It shows that the money I pay them is making a difference. If they can buy their own clothes and improve their appearances within 3 to 4 months, it's something to be proud of.
During the ongoing exhibition in Gikondo, some young students have found work, stating that the earnings will help support their parents as they prepare for the new academic year. The exhibition, which began on July 25th, is scheduled to end on August 15th. Olive Nete, RTV News.
And from these, we come to the end of tonight's edition. On behalf of the entire news production, as well as the technical team that made it happen, many thanks for being with us on today's edition. Up until next time, stay safe, and we wish you a great and fruitful week ahead. Goodbye.